Let me tell you a little bit about Stephen Russell. Okay. He escaped jail 3 times. The first time let's see, I'm going to skip around. Oh, yeah. The first time he was posing as a jailhouse workman. All right. And he obtained, I guess, like civilian clothing and a walkie-talkie somehow. And he was holding the walkie-talkie, and then he taps on the guard window, and the jailer just opens up the door because she thought Stephen Russell was a worker. He just walked right out. And then 3 days later, of course, he was arrested in Miami while trying to board a flight to Mexico.
He was
And
so close to getting away.
so close, so close.
Also, how do you get a walkie-talkie in prison?
I don't know, man. But this guy, I mean, this guy is good, so I don't doubt his skills at all. And it's so funny because when he was trying to book a flight to Mexico, he was on a $20,000 bond, which he posted, but then he went on the lam again. And he made it out for 2.5 years. That was a pretty long stretch for him. So the next time he escapes jail, he was claiming to be a state judge. And he called the clerk at the jail and lowered his own bail so he could afford to get out.
This is one of my favorite parts of the story, and the audacity of doing this, and how I don't think maybe no one's ever thought of this before, but what a move, man. The cojones on these people to pull such a bold move.
But that's what's funny about this Stephen Russell guy, because when they asked him, they said, when he pulled the whole judge stunt, they asked him, why did you escape? And he goes, I didn't escape. I didn't break out. I asked if I could go home, and they opened the door and he went home. So
yeah, just simple questions. You have to leave a lot to the imagination, and he clearly knew what he was doing, but he's such a good con artist that he knows the ins and outs and knows how to get away with the largest of crimes.
And he strikes me as the kind of guy that he could say anything and that you would believe it. And because a good con artist could tell you anything, even the most ridiculous thing, and you would believe it. But the third time he escaped prison is probably the most memorable time. And I'll tell you how he escapes prison, and then we'll back up a little bit and talk about how he got to prison to begin with. But he used a felt tip pen, and using the dye, he dyed his prison uniform green so that it could resemble surgical scrubs.
It's so wild. How does that even work?
Well, I mean, he looked like he was wearing scrubs, so they just let him out of jail. And then he hitchhiked his way to a restaurant and took a cab to Houston. And then he managed to stay out of prison that time for 10 days. So this guy is a sneaky bastard. Every good story has a love story. Right?
I need love in my life. Please, Javier.
So the third time he went to jail, after that ink incident, he went to state prison and he fell in love with another inmate. And that inmate's name is Phillip Morris, hence the movie I Love You, Phillip Morris.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And, they were in the library at the Harris County Jail, and then they just kind of fell in love, but even to somebody who Stephen Russell really had like an affection for and loved, he still apparently lied to Phillip Morris about who he was. He told him he was a lawyer, and he faked everything about the reason why he was there.
Hey, he's trying to put his best foot forward. When you first start a relationship, you don't air all of your skeletons. He's just trying to put the best foot forward.
So it was rumored that Phillip was never attracted to Stephen Russell sexually. I mean, it was definitely a relationship with, that they were kind of mutually like taking advantage of each other, because
they saw opportunities with each other, right?
Because, and actually I haven't looked this up. Could we look it up? But apparently Steve looked like a beached whale is the way he describes him.
Yeah.
All right, let's Google.
Yeah, I've looked up Stephen Russell, and he's very robust. He's kind of a little pot-bellied guy. But at
Okay,
least I think on his third arrest, I saw some of his appearances there.
already you've done more research than I have. Oh yeah, yeah. He's not the most attractive fella, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I could see the whole beached whale thing comparison.
Yeah, and many people told him said that their description of him was that he was very pot-bellied, stout, and bald. So,
Yeah. But he had charisma, and that goes a long way. So
and that is probably one of his biggest attributes, right? I mean, if you can do all this as a beached whale, as so many people describe you, but you can tell anybody anything and convince them of whatever you want. I mean, we've already gone so far over some of his lesser antics, but you're going to get
yeah.
into some of the greater ones here in a bit, I think.
All right. So what does Stephen Russell do now that he's out of prison? Him and Philip Morris are living together. Life is good. You'd think that they would give it up, but no, they're back to their old antics. Now remember, Philip Morris says that he does not know anything about Stephen Russell's con games, right? He says he's a victim in all this, right?
Do we believe that though?
Hmm, I don't think so.
I'm with you, Javier. I'm with you. I think they were in on it, man.
I mean,
One
he
con man
had
knows
to.
another.
Come on,
Yeah.
especially with what happens next. But
That's
so
your next TV show that you need to pitch is the con couple. It's not
the
the odd couple, it's the con
ooh,
couple.
ooh, I
It's the
like that, dude.
two cons that live together who are working on conning people every
That's
day of
right.
their life,
That
right?
that sells itself, man.
Yeah.
That's what we call a concept. So Stephen Russell and Philip Morris are living together, and their neighbor is talking to them, and then she realizes that you know she had an impasse with an architect that she's working with, and Stephen Russell goes, wait, I'm a lawyer. I could totally take care of this for you. I'll mediate this for you. And remember, he's not a lawyer.
No, not at all.
And so he shows up to court late wearing a three-piece suit, and he explains that he was tied up on another case. And so they go into mediation. So this is not like a courtroom, right? This is not like,
Right.
you have a jury and all that. The judge, Philip Morris, the architect, the neighbor, they all go into this room and they mediate the case. And then after they were done, the neighbor said that Stephen Russell asked her, "Didn't I do great? Didn't I do great?" And she was like, "What? Who? Like, what kind of real lawyer asked that question? Did I do great?"
Yeah.
Yeah,
The real lawyer knows. The real lawyer is already calculating. The gears are turning. But
but
he's playing a role. He's playing a part.
man, this guy. So his next con is quite possibly his most lucrative con because from everything we've talked about so far, he sounds like a small time con artist, right?
No, he is not. He's just
No,
getting ready.
he's just warming up. So this one was the one that floored me because he faked his resume, got a recruiter, and that recruiter got him hired as the CFO of a large company called North American Medical Management. Now, a CFO is the chief financial officer. Okay. This is like, I don't know. I know some CFOs and they're like
Yeah.
rolling in dough, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like an executive level position. And he just like fakes his resume into this company.
Boy,
And
there's
suppose
so many of us who have had a resume that we've just wanted to flesh out a little bit more, but we were honest and we didn't get the job. Stephen Russell's not that guy. Stephen Russell's going to pad that resume and get the CFO position.
because why not? Like if you're gonna fake your resume, right? Shay, like why would you fake your resume to work at some low level job?
Sure.
Might as well make some money.
Yeah, just shoot for the stars. That's Stephen Russell's MO is shooting for the stars.
I'm
That's
surprised he
that's it.
didn't go for the CEO job.
Yeah, exactly.
But surprisingly, the CFO job didn't pay that much, or maybe it just doesn't seem that much like that much now. But maybe back then it was. But it was $90,000 a year. Okay, so I mean, to me that doesn't sound like a lot of money for a CFO. But maybe it was a smaller company. I don't know. But
Yeah.
even still, even with that salary, he and Philip Morris were living way outside their means, right? They were buying Mercedes, Rolexes, a pair of jet skis, a lake house.
Hey, they were living the high life, you know? Why not?
That's right. And did did you know that Stephen Russell, who is the CFO of that North American medical management company, he was pocketing nearly $1 million of the company's money. Yeah, because he was the CFO. I mean, nobody was checking on him. He was cashing checks, you know?
And see, that was the original thing when I saw that he only made 90,000 in salary. I was like, okay, well, Steven Russell is a really charismatic, smart guy. There's something else going on here. There's something else he's doing in the background to make ends meet and to make it lucrative for him. He's not going to play it safe. He's not going
Right.
to go for just a decent paying salary and get some benefits. There's something else there for Steven.
Oh, he got some benefits, all right. And this is why I call BS on Philip Morris not knowing that he's a con man, because like, come on, if your partner is living like a millionaire but only making $90,000 a year, you got to know something's up, right?
Yes, you have to. Definitely. He was in the know. One
And the
con man knows another.
and the checks were to Morris, like to Philip Morris, and they were cash and deposited into their joint account. I mean, come on. How do
Yeah,
you not know this?
for
But
sure.
yeah, but when he was asked about the charges of embezzlement, Stephen Russell admitted that he stole the money, but he also maintains that Philip Morris had no idea and he was unaware of his actions. So that tells you about that love, that
I
he's
think he
not gonna.
did care about him.
I think
I think he
so.
did
He didn't
because
throw him under
he's
the bus.
protecting him. Yeah, he's protecting him.
Yeah, but unfortunately that didn't work. And they came and they arrested Stephen Russell. They put handcuffs on him, and this is amazing. While they're arresting Stephen Russell, he grabs Philip Morris's insulin because Stephen Philip Morris was diabetic, and he shoots himself with some insulin because he tells the cops that he's diabetic, and he goes into shock at the county jail. Now, why do you think Stephen Russell would inject himself with insulin right before?
He's looking for an escape route.
That's right.
Is what I'm thinking. He's
That,
trying to get into a medical facility that has less security so he can escape. That's what I'm thinking.
this is his fourth escape, right? But guess what? It didn't work. He went into the infirmary and was not able to escape.
Well, it was a
So
bold move. It was a
that's right.
bold move, and I appreciate it as a con man. I'm glad he got caught, but hey, hats off.
He tried. But right after Stephen Russell was arrested, so was Philip Morris, his partner. He was arrested as an accomplice to the whole, CFO scam that he was running. So
Sure.
yeah, yeah. But here's the greatest part. So Philip Morris he pays his bond and he gets out of jail, right? But Stephen Russell, his bond is set way too high. Okay, like even for somebody who stole money, millions of dollars from acting as a CFO, he couldn't afford the bond. So what does Stephen Russell do? And did you get this far, by the way? Because this
Is
part is
this
awesome.
is this where he calls and acts as his own attorney to get his bond lowered so that he can pay it and then get out?
That's it. Correct. Ding, ding,
Okay.
ding.
Okay, I did get that part.
It is unbelievable, this guy. So the detention clerk at the jail receives this call from someone who claims to be a retired district judge who is serving as a visiting judge, whatever that means. I didn't even know there were visiting judges. And Russell's bond had already been lowered to 1.8 million to $900,000, but he still couldn't afford that. So he tried to lower it further. So he got it down from 1.8 million down to $45,000, posing
Wow.
as a traveling judge or a visiting judge.
Again, another extremely bold, very gregarious move for a con man, but it worked.
Yep.
Worked. Somehow he's able to convince people that he wears all these other hats and disguises. He might be the world's most interesting man.
He might be. And you got to give him credit because this for him, he's like, this is a sport. He's like the Olympian of cons, right?
Yeah.
And so how does the story end? As far as we know, because this article was written a while ago, Morris remains incarcerated at the Harris County Jail where he awaits trial. And maybe by now he's in maximum security prison. I don't know. But I am definitely going to follow up on this story. You guys will hear more about this because
I'm taking notes too. So we're all going to hear more about it. This guy is very fascinating.
To be continued.